Today, we shall be looking at some of the greatest scientists and inventors in animated shows and cartoon films. They include smart kids with high IQ, some mad scientists and nerdy school kids with the power to create anything from scratch. There was a professor called Balthazar in the Professor Balthazar show that ran from 1967 to 1978. He was a genius from Croatia who solved local problems using his imagination and his magic machine. He mostly helped his townsfolk to get out of sticky situations using his genius intellect. Clyde Crashcup from the Alvin Show was another scientist who was good at inventing things, but his inventions often failed because he always tried to invent things that already exist. The great Professor Frink from The Simpsons was a mad and nerdy scientist who always tried his best to help Springfield with new inventions. Most of his inventions were so bizarre and always failed in comedic ways, which in turn made situations turn from bad to worse. Jimmy Neutron, on the other hand, was a boy genius who invented large machines and was a kid with a very high IQ. He loved science and solving problems that even a grown-up couldn't understand. His youthfulness made it easier for him to grow his thinking capacity and come up with solutions that had not yet been invented. One of the most popular scientists was Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb. He was a professional inventor who created ridiculous machines that were aimed at getting revenge on Perry the Platypus, and some were made in order to take over the world, which he never did. Phineas Flynn was one of the main characters in Phineas and Ferb. He was not quite a scientist but an extreme inventor who built huge rides and created many projects in his everyday life of summer vacation. Ferb Fletcher, on the other hand, was the quieter brother of Phineas, and he helped to build the inventions with his technical skills. Eero Gearloose from DuckTales was a skilled inventor who was always called upon to solve problems using his inventions. Sometimes his inventions backfired, but they mostly worked properly as they were supposed to. Princess Bubblegum from Adventure Time was the ruler of Candy Kingdom, and was also a very advanced scientist and inventor who created the citizens of her kingdom. The beautiful Entrapta from She-Ra and the Princess of Power was a robotics engineer and inventor. She was very enthusiastic about technology, and was a socially awkward innovator who always had a way out using science. Dr. Benson Quest was the father of Johnny Quest, and was a scientific adventurer who was an expert in fields like engineering and physics. His inventions were used to solve mysteries and to also build equipments. Another doctor was Dr. Emmett Brown, who was popularly known as Dr. Brown. He was an inventor of a time machine called the DeLorean. His invention was used in both causing havoc to the timeline and also fixing it whenever problems came up. A baby called Stewie Griffin from Family Guy is one of the smartest people in the show. He has a very high intelligence which he uses to create time machines, weapons, and even mind control devices. Tony Stark is the iconic Iron Man. He is a billionaire inventor who builds superhero-powered suits and AI systems like Jarvis and Friday. Dr. Robotnik is also known as Dr. Eggman in Sonic the Hedgehog shows. He is a supervillain inventor who creates things like robots and machines which he uses for evil use. Professor Hubert Farnsworth was an elderly scientist and inventor in Futurama. He made many bizarre futuristic devices that often caused a lot of trouble than good. Dexter from Dexter's Laboratory was a boy genius with a secret lab beneath their house. He had lots of inventions and experiments which he used in his day-to-day life after school. Mr. Fantastic's real name is Reed Richards. He is the leader of the Fantastic Four, who is both a superhero and a scientist. He has built advanced tech for his team and invented multiple innovations used to take supervillains down. Gadget Hack Wrench from Chippendale was a mouse inventor who was good in building vehicles and gadgets that helped the rescue rangers to fight crime in town. Marvin the Martian from Looney Tunes was an alien inventor and engineer of space-age weapons, and he mostly used his gadgets to attack Earth or fight Bugs Bunny. Professor Utonium was a gifted scientist who created living girls using sugar, spice, and Chemical X. Dr. Namba from Pokemon was an evil scientist and inventor for Team Rocket, and he used his potential to make weapons of destruction. Megatron was not necessarily a scientist, but he was a leader and inventor who used and invented high-tech gadgets. A princess called Twilight Sparkle from My Little Pony was a magical creature who was good in scientific experiments, and she used her curiosity to come up with new ideas. Donatello from the TMNT franchise was a tech and gadget inventor who used his inventions and scientific skills to help the team in fighting crime. The Brain from Pinky and the Brain was a tiny lab mouse who always came up with grand inventions each episode to try and take over the world. In Beauty and the Beast, Belle's father was known as Maurice, and he was an inventor who helped the small town to come up with new things. Louis from Meet the Robinsons was an inventor who built a time machine and also a memory machine which he used to visit his future self. In the second movie of The Incredibles, Evelyn Deaver was one of the smartest people who invented technology for mass hypnosis and mind control. Jumba Jookiba from Lilo and Stitch was a genetic scientist and alien inventor who was actually the one that created Stitch. Edna Mode was another character from The Incredibles. She was a designer and inventor of supersuits with high-tech features. She made the suits for all the superheroes and some villains too, while E. Coyote from Looney Tunes was not born to be an inventor. He got his inventing powers when he always tried to catch the Roadrunner who was too quick and smart to catch. Flint Lockwood from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs was an upcoming inventor, and he was the one who created the food-making machine that went to the sky and started raining down all sorts of food. Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty was a genius inventor and scientist with self-made gadgets like a portal opener, time machines, and even space travel cars. Professor Calculus from multiple adaptations of Tintin was a popular scientist and inventor who came up with various useful inventions for his town. Dr. Otto Octavius was another scientist and inventor, and he is mostly known as the villain in Spider-Man movies with biomechanical arms. Professor Layton was a puzzle inventor and archaeologist who used and came up with very many gadgets in his line of work. A villain known as the Black Hat was an evil inventor who made gadgets for his fellow villains, and was also good in tech-based weapons. Dr. Light from the animated versions of Mega Man was an inventor and scientist known for building complex robots. Nora Wakeman from My Life as a Teenage Robot was a robotics engineer and creator of living robots that operated as humans. And finally, we have Handy Smurf from the Smurfs universe. He was an inventor and a fixer of broken things, and was the one responsible in coming up with new ideas for the community.